Well, Chris Popper here in Bangor. I'm joined by head coach Josette Babineau up at University of Maine, the field hockey coach. And coach, a tough weekend down in Boston, falling to Bryant in a close game 4-3 on Friday, and then losing at Northeastern on Sunday 4-2, and makes it particularly worse was that Bryant game was an American East game.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about the weekend that we want to forget.
Yeah, no, it was a difficult weekend, and to be honest, Friday is a little bit unexplainable. We got off to a really good start. I thought that the first half, the conversations at halftime were pretty positive with how we were playing because we were up 3-0, and you have the typical conversation of, we just have to keep going, keep playing this way, no changes, just keep moving the ball well with our passing, and then they scored the first goal to make it 3-1. And in my mind, I was like, okay, it's like we just have to retake control, right? Like we'll probably get opportunities to score one more if we just keep playing the way that we are. And I think the second goal, goes in, and then there's like the fear, I guess, of like, oh God, this is gonna be like this is getting closer than it should be. And I think, from a psychological standpoint, obviously we didn't handle it well, but just like um, game wise, just game management, I think we could have had a more composure with ball possession and found a way to end the game and keep possession of the ball without it becoming such a panic situation. And then the overtime is the same situation where we dominated the overtime, but the overtime, it's just whoever scores first. So you can dominate and you can get opportunities, but if we don't score, it only takes one opportunity, for any team to win in overtime. So overtime is
Right.
always a little risky, but really that game should not have gone, to that level. So it's a hard one to explain what's been happening over the last few games with our team, because I think the performance for the team has actually not, like, it's continued to be pretty good, but we're allowing so many goals that it's becoming difficult, to find a way to win these games. And the game against Northeastern um, was such a high level game, and we competed well. And in many ways, I thought we should have won the game, in all honesty. And the statistics were completely even in shots and penalty corners. So from a performance standpoint, again, I think that we had a good performance, but allowing 4 goals. So there is something that has shifted in that area from the beginning of the season to now that we have to. I wish it was an obvious thing right now but it is like we know that the penalty corner defense has been, an issue, and where we have let up a lot more goals in that area. And then also in our defensive circle, the end line, the baseline is a very important part of the attack of any team. And defending the baseline, the end line, is like a really important part of like strategy. And I think that we're letting up a lot of opportunities from that area as well, that we were controlling a little bit better at the beginning of the season. So the Bryant game was hard because also there were some other upsets or whatever that happened that day, that if we could
Right.
have gotten that win, it would have put us back, thinking about the top positions in the conference. So that's how quickly, things can turn. But obviously now we can only focus on moving forward. And we have a big game against Albany. We know that it's a tough opponent, but we're excited to try to find a way to compete in that game and try to get a big win to, get us going in a positive direction again. Obviously, we're going to make some changes to how things are going with our, with our lineup and things like that. And we had a good session yesterday, and the team was very receptive to what we're proposing. So we've got to give some different look at making a few changes, for the last little bit, and see if we can make a jump here to get ourselves ready for the playoffs.
How do you rally the ladies on the team? I mean, I obviously they're disappointed after a weekend like that, and with two games left. I mean, and the the playoff picture still up in the air, and yeah, as you mentioned, jockeying for position. How do you make sure that everybody's attitude is, right up here, and buying into everything that you're proposing?
I think that they did a good job. Like Friday, obviously, no one would have been receptive to talking about anything after the game. Like the atmosphere mood on the team was heavy. Saturday we took the field for practice at Northeastern, and it started a little heavy, but as we continued with practice, it got better. The mindset got better.
Hmm.
And I think that there were a lot of like individual conversations between players on the field, a lot of discussion, positive discussion, I think, happened on Saturday. And Sunday, even though, we don't talk about sort of winning and losing the games too much because we have to focus on more so the execution. But I felt like the team left the field thinking that they had executed in a lot of areas at a high level. So I felt like even as a staff, I think we left Sunday in a better mindset. And then yesterday, we had a light practice, a little bit of a walkthrough. But to credit, I guess, the leadership of the team and the senior players and maturity of the athletes that we have is that they have stayed very receptive to, you know, coming in and having meetings and wanting to ask on things that they could improve upon to finish the year, the way that they'd like to finish it. So
Sure.
I think that that is like that is happening, has happened, you know what I mean? And that's all as a coaching staff that we can ask for. I think the first thing when you lose a game that you should have won that was so important is, there needs to be some self-reflection that happens, as well as what's happening, as a group, because it's a team sport. And I think that the self-reflection happens instead of the sort of finger pointing, and that's a good thing for the team.
Right. One positive development from the weekend was Poppy Lambert scoring
Yeah,
the 54th career goal, and which
right.
ties her for the all-time lead. And with two games remaining, we would hope that she'd
Yeah, yeah.
be able to score at least one to take the all-time lead. Talk to us a little bit about Poppy's play.
Yeah, I mean, I was very happy for her. I after the Bryant game, once the team, had cooled down before exiting the field, I did go up to Poppy to congratulate her on tying the record, because I know that the circumstances of the game kind of took away from, the accomplishment.
Right.
But I wanted her to know that I, can acknowledge that that is a huge accomplishment for an individual player. And, what she's meant to our team all along from like her first year to now is, um, obviously she plays a huge role, and incredibly impressive player. And, I wanted her to know that it's not something that we need to just like ignore because we lost the game. But
Right.
I am, I'm hoping that she can break the record at home over these next two games, because she definitely deserves that for the all the accomplishments that she's had as a player.
All right, so two home games left. Don't have to climb on the bus. Uh, Hopefully not till playoffs, but we'll wait and
Yeah,
see. Obviously, these two
yeah,
games play an important role. This Friday, October 25th at 3 o'clock against Albany. Albany, the 14th ranked team in the nation. The Great Danes coming in. they're going to be a tough opponent.
Yeah, I mean they've been having a great season. They move the ball really well. They're a ball possession team. We know that, we're going to have a good defensive effort, but we also have to focus on ways to get attack against them to be able to beat them. And that's what we focused on yesterday, because sometimes we struggle moving the ball when we play them. They're a very good defensive team. Their skill level is very high, obviously, to be like ranked that high and to be having this good of a season. So we worked on some things to try to see if we can create some opportunities, because we're going to have to create some opportunities to ultimately have a chance to win this game. But I think the team is excited to play against Albany. I mean, it's been a rivalry for us against them
Right.
for a long time, right? So even though they're having a good season, it is one game, and the team is going to be up to play that game, and we just have to go a game at a time and keep working at it. But I am confident in what we have talent wise, and I think we can get back on track here after last weekend and try to get back to a solid performance against Albany.
All right. And then, of course, then the following week is the final game of the regular season. It'll be senior day against UNH. And senior day, I've been going through that at high school with all the various teams. And of course, it's both a happy and sad day to be able to acknowledge the work of the seniors. And it's a little bit different with the transfer portal, because you've got some super seniors that may have only just played for 1 year, but have been an incredible part of the team as well.
Right. I'm gonna try to see senior day. I'm gonna try to switch my mind for it to be a happy day.
Yeah.
And I could be sad after the season's done. But I am happy for our seniors, because all the work that they do for our program throughout the year, not just the season, and the type
Right.
of people that they are on and off the field, is just, feel so lucky, fortunate to, have been in their lives for 4 years, and to be with them, almost daily for that time. Just impressive people, and their accomplishments in the classroom and how they represent our program, and even the new players coming in, and just having the opportunity to be with them for this 1 year is for me a special thing. So I'm gonna hold it as a happy day on that day.
Awesome.
Mhm.
All right, Coach. We love to see the fans flocking into the stadium again this Friday, October 25th, 3 o'clock, against the number 14 Albany Great Danes. I love Great Danes, but I won't be rooting for them then. We'll be all Maine blue. So go blue. Thanks, Coach. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.